The German Imperial Army had the Big Bertha, which brought a never-seen destruction to the front line with its 42 cm caliber, delivering an over 1 ton payload to its target. Seeing this destructive power, the Austro-Hungarian leadership also started to look into repurposing naval guns, converting them into field or siege artillery. Although they had the Skoda 305mm Mörser already, they wanted something stronger to tear down the Italian strongholds in the Alps in case of they would betray the allies and attack the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Plot twist, the Italians did exactly that. For this purpose, they chose the Skoda-made 42 cm gun. This gun was designed to penetrate the weakly armored decks of modern dreadnoughts as part of the coastal defense system around naval bases. They figured that it was better to attack the weakest point with high-angle indirect fire than attempt to shoot at the strongly armored side with very expensive guns that had to be equally well armored to withstand return fire from the battleship. Also, howitzers were significantly cheaper and could be hidden behind hills to avoid return fire and saving on the cost of armoring them. The known problem of hitting a moving target with indirect fire was to be solved by multiple guns firing at the same target and hoping at least some of them would hit the target. 2 howitzers were purchased to defend the main Austro-Hungarian naval base at Pola on the Adriatic. They were to be installed on a turntable carriage with an armored dome able to traverse a full 360 degrees for all-around defense. The turntable rested on a huge bearing ring in a concrete foundation. However, with Pola unthreatened after the outbreak of the war, it was decided that these guns might be better used in support of the army. The first howitzer was already fixed in place in the Gomila fortress, hence they decided to leave it as it is, but the second was not yet installed and Skoda was able to adapt it for mobile use by January of 1915. As a result, howitzer number 2, assigned to the Küstenhaubitze battery number 1, fired its first shot at the railway station in Tarnów, which is in Poland today. The M14 converted gun weighed 183 tons. It needed a crew of at least 27 people and had a rate of fire 12 per hour. The launch projectile was varied from 800 kg to 1000 kg, depending on the type of the ammunition, and had an effective range of 14.6 km. The High Command was very happy with the results. 8 of these M14s were eventually ordered along with spare barrels and cradles. However, one was to be retained by Skoda. The transport and setup of the super heavy weapons put on mobile platform was really difficult, needing a train of 39 wagons and cars and a 40 tons mobile crane. Due to this, the High Command asked Skoda in 1915 for the development of a new specific field carriage, replacing the turret system to be able to speed up the deployment of these guns. Skoda immediately began the design of this new version that could be hauled only in 7 separate loads with the weight reduced to 112 tons. It kept the good ballistic properties of the M14 version, but in the meantime it was more mobile, simpler and less expensive. This was called a 42 cm Austro-Hungarian M16. The last version was introduced in 1917 with the 42 cm Austro-Hungarian M17, and it's further improved the transportability thanks to a modification of the base box and pivot system, allowing to reduce by 2 units the number of loads to carry and ease the assembly and transportation with smaller elements. At the war end, the Austro-Hungarian army had 8 42 cm howitzer in service. One in static position defending Pola from the fortress of Gomila, 2 M14 on mobile turret, 4 M16 and 1 M17. But the story of the 42 cm howitzer did not end here. They have seen further action in the upcoming years. One surviving gun was used in 1940 by Germany to shell the, and I will probably butcher this name, Schönenburg from a position near Oberotterbach. As the 60 and 80 cm siege guns planned to be used to break the Maginot Line was not ready on time, the Wehrmacht dragged out these World War I behemoths, including one of the still existing Gamma Geras, which is basically a Big Bertha on steroids. Also, just a side note, the sole existing M17 model entered German possession following the annexation of Czechoslovakia in 1938-1939 and was renamed to 42 cm Howitzer T. This gun gun was literally dragged around Europe as it also served at Leningrad and Sevastopol, even though its barrel life was rated only to 1000 rounds, but they were just keep using it. As far as I know, only one Howitzer survived the two world wars, and now it is on display at the National Military Museum in Bucharest. This one was captured at Győr in Hungary during the Hungarian-Romanian War of 1990. So if any of you are in Bucharest and have some time, just pop into this museum and pay a visit to this gun. With this, we arrived to the end of this video. Thank you for joining me, and if you made it this far, you might want to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on my future videos.